Welcome back, folks. Today, we're investigating a fiasco that unfolded in October 2021 during Halloween festivities. When a person who looked up to the Joker from Batman decided to imitate him during Halloween and attacked a Tokyo train. There's a lot more to this tale than you might think. We're about to peel back the layers of this bizarre plot, and I promise you, it's going to be one wild ride. From that iconic Joker costume, to the meticulous planning that went on behind the scenes, there's something intriguing about this whole situation. This flurry of fire and steel turned a festive Sunday night into a bloody train wreck. Fear flourished, screams sparked while others clung to hope with bated breaths, and the night dredged slowly but sure with violent tremors within trembling hearts. The train traveled with flames, literally, causing passengers to climb out of their windows. As an iteration of the Joker, the intent may not have been to kill but to pose a question, yet one that left 17 injured and one in critical condition nevertheless. While the media focused on the Joker-inspired culprit, the incident raises important questions about Japanese society as a whole. Stay focused as we dig deep into this unsettling story and reveal the intentions behind the attack at the end. Kyoto Hattori, the Joker, boarded the KO line trains and purposely chose a limited express as it had fewer stops, giving him more time between each to carry out his attack. The horrifying details of the incident shed light on the chaos and confusion that unfolded on that day. Before stabbing the 72-year-old man in the chest, Hattori allegedly sprayed pesticide into the eyes of the passenger seated next to him on the train. This unsettling act occurred while he remained seated in the 8th carriage, seemingly calm and collected. Initially, many passengers on the train believed that the assailant was merely pulling off an elaborate Halloween prank. However, this eerie illusion shattered after Hattori calmly pulled out a long, bloody knife and launched a brutal attack on the 72-year-old man. Hattori's reign of terror continued as he moved to the 6th carriage, where he began spraying it with lighter fluid. The flammable liquid splashed across the floor, several passengers, and the chairs. Soon after, he lit the liquid, causing panic and prompting many passengers to desperately flee for their lives. As chaos ensued, numerous individuals suffered injuries from the fire and smoke inhalation as they attempted to escape from Hattori. The train made an emergency stop after the alarms went off, but the situation grew even more dire as passengers found themselves trapped due to malfunctioning doors. In desperation, some passengers resorted to pushing their way out through the train's windows to escape the unfolding nightmare. Meanwhile, Hattori stayed inside the train, looking strangely calm despite the chaos around him. He casually lit a cigarette, the flicker of his lighter casting eerie shadows on his face. He held onto his knife tightly, its sharp blade gleaming in the dim light, while a bottle of lighter fluid sat nearby. As the chaos continued outside, Hattori's calmness added a spooky vibe to the unfolding scene. It was like he had come out of a suspenseful movie, patiently waiting for the police to arrive in the midst of all the commotion on the Tokyo subway. When police finally arrived on the scene, they swiftly and quietly encircled him, successfully taking him into custody, bringing an end to the terrifying ordeal. Before we reveal Hattori's intentions, do partner up in crime with us by smashing that like button. At the site of the bloodshed, police took Kyoto Hattori in custody on suspicion of attempted murder. Later, Hattori told Japanese police investigators, "I wanted to kill lots of people, I wanted the death penalty." The details surrounding Hattori's preparations and his obsession with the Batman villain make this incident even more chilling. When he arrived in Tokyo, a city teeming with Halloween revelers, Hattori came bearing 4 liters of lighter fluid, neatly packed in small bottles. Hattori later explained that his actions were influenced more by a previous incident that occurred in August of the same year. In that incident, a man randomly attacked 3 passengers on an Odaku Electric Railway commuter train with a knife. This attacker was subsequently sentenced to 19 years in prison on July 14. Psychiatrist Tamami Kadeda noted that this was an unusual case where feelings of isolation and experiencing loss had led to thoughts of committing a violent act followed by self-harm. However, she also emphasized that such circumstances could potentially affect anyone. What's particularly disturbing is that the 24-year-old later admitted to regretting that he couldn't carry out his planned murders as intended. He openly declared his adoration for the Batman villain during his trial, further underscoring the twisted nature of his obsession with the character. The 72-year-old victim of Kyoto, although in severe condition, managed to survive. Thankfully, despite the panic, commotion, and the potential for fatalities, the quick actions of law enforcement ensured that nobody lost their life during this terrifying incident. Once the news went live, it disappointed Kyoto's past classmates and acquaintances. They described Kyoto as a quiet person who didn't have many close friends, and no one had ever suspected he could do something so terrible. This case highlights a bigger problem of people who seem isolated or emotionally troubled. It's a reminder of how important it is to notice these signs early and help those in need before things take a dark turn. When we think about school shootings in America, we see a similar pattern often. The shooters have felt isolated and struggled with emotional distress. This just underscores why it's so important to step in early, offer support, and create systems that can prevent such terrible tragedies from happening. According to Kyoto's confession to the police, he was planning this attack since June 2021, around the time he lost his job. He felt increasingly isolated from his family and friends, which ultimately led him down a dark path. He started obsessing over the Joker character, admiring how effortlessly the character could cause harm to others. His fascination fueled the motivation to truly live out Halloween as an expression of the Joker and his sinister plans. Hattori decided that Halloween would provide the perfect cover for his actions, as he believed there would be a significant number of people out in public, especially those using public transportation. It's worth noting that Halloween, in a metaphorical sense, can sometimes be seen as a depiction of Gotham City. It's a night when people embrace the darker aspects of their favorite characters, sometimes crossing boundaries in the name of immersion. In terms of Japanese culture, Halloween has been a somewhat recent addition, and it's fascinating to see how it's perceived and celebrated. While it originally wasn't a traditional holiday in Japan, it has gained popularity in recent years, especially among young people who appreciate the opportunity to dress up and enjoy themed parties. However, this incident sheds light on how even seemingly fun and harmless celebrations can take a dark turn when someone with sinister intentions is involved. Hattori began his unsettling journey by walking through the bustling streets of Shibuya, a well-known district in Tokyo. From there, he boarded a train headed for Shinjuku Station, one of the busiest transit hubs in the city, where he intended to carry out his disturbing plan. Hattori revealed during the trial that he was deeply shocked to discover that his ex-girlfriend had gotten married just 6 months after their breakup. This revelation, as reported by Japanese public broadcaster NHK, had a profound impact on him, and it triggered a period of intense emotional distress. Hattori admitted that during this time, he began to experience thoughts of suicide, which further compounded his emotional turmoil. Hattori underwent a thorough 3-month psychiatric examination, which aimed to determine his criminal responsibility for the attack. He said earlier during the trial that "I lost my sense of existence and thought there was no point in living." In March 2022, prosecutors formally indicted him, setting the legal proceedings in motion. Hattori faced charges of attempting to murder a 72-year-old male passenger by stabbing him in the chest, as well as igniting lighter fluid on a Keio Corporation express train in Chofu, western Tokyo, around 8 p.m. on October 31, 2021. In court, he admitted to carrying a knife and injuring one passenger with it, as well as setting the fire on that fateful day. However, he denied attempting to murder the other 12 passengers, suggesting that the arson was not meant to be deadly. Prosecutors, on the other hand, argued that Hattori had meticulously planned the entire attack with the intention of causing harm. According to the prosecutor's opening statement, Hattori began harboring thoughts of worthlessness and a desire to end his life in June 2021, after learning that his former girlfriend, with whom he had lived until the previous autumn, had married someone else. Around the same time, he received news of a job transfer due to workplace issues, leading him to believe that death was his only way out. Prosecutors revealed that Hattori had previously attempted suicide unsuccessfully. He believed that if he killed multiple people, he would face the death penalty, so he hatched a plan to carry out an attack on a day known for its crowded Halloween celebrations. It came to light that Hattori drew inspiration from the actions of Yusuke Tsushima, who, in August 2021, had similarly stabbed passengers on a Tokyo train and set the train on fire. This disturbing incident occurred at a time when Hattori was facing internal workplace issues and was grappling with negative thoughts. The legal process concluded on July 31, 2023, with Hattori being found guilty of attempted murder and arson. And he was sentenced to 23 years in prison for his actions. Similarly, the Joker's character is heavily portrayed as the thematic embrace of the one bad day ideology. The idea revolves around a series of unfortunate events which psychologically traumatized or influence one's psyche. Whether Kyoda Hattori knew it or not, he too was affected by such unfortunate events that eventually led him down his own Joker story. But who was the Batman to Hattori's Joker? Let us know down in the comments.